I don't think articles like this should be getting airtime. Whether you believe in dignity in dying or assisted dying or not, I would love to hear your opinions on this. So this article says, physically healthy woman, 28, decides to die by euthanasia after being told her crippling depression will never get better. Now, one of the biggest arguments, apart from religion, about assisted suicide or dignity in dying, which is when somebody has a terminal diagnosis or they're not going to get better, that they can choose to end their life peacefully at a time that suits them. One of the biggest arguments for that is that people who have mental health struggles could get hold of that and be able to use that to take their life when potentially there's other ways that they could be helped. And giving articles like this huge airtime and not giving the people who need that assisted dying that same airtime, I think is just unfair. One of the reasons I'm such a huge advocate for this is that I spent a lot of my adult life working with people who had MND, which is motor neuron disease, or ALS, if you're American, which is a condition in which you deteriorate often quite rapidly to the point where you are no longer able to move your body. Awful to watch them lose all of their motor functions, to lose their speech, and then pass away. So I've always been someone who's an advocate for dignity in dying. There's been some huge campaigns, people. Noel Conway was one where he wanted the right to die. He had MND. He knew that he was going to die, and he wanted that right to die peacefully rather than let MND take his life. And he was denied that in the courts. And I just think it's so unfair that, like, this is a whole other situation that this lady feels like she's been told she'll never get better. I mean, personally, I don't think that's something you should ever tell someone who is depressed. You never know what is around the corner. You never know what amazing things life is going to throw at you. Telling someone they're never going to get better, that's not going to do anything for their mental health. But apart from that, pushing conversations like this means really important conversations that will stop people suffering aren't happening, and they're not getting that airtime. And something that I always say is assisted dying or assisted suicide doesn't stop people dying. It just stops them suffering. It stops them having to have a really long, drawn out death when they could do so peacefully at a time when they are able to still move and they are able to hug their family, and nobody is traumatized by that. There's so many amazing stories of people that have flown to Dignitas to do this, but sometimes people are too poorly to leave the country, and there's lots of other reasons people can't do it. I just don't think it's fair that places like The Sun are publishing articles like this, and I've seen it all over social media, because this is the sort of thing that gets pushed into why we shouldn't allow dignity in dying, and I just think it's wrong.